Good morning, one and all. I am Dr. B. Anbuthambi, President at ICT Academy and host for today's virtual book launch of The Future of Higher Education 9 Mega Trends. The chief guest of today is our Honorable Vice President of India, Sri Venkaiah Naidu, and the guests of honor are Sri Lakshmi Narayanan, Chairman ICT Academy, Sri T.N. Manogaran, Chairman Canara Bank and Padma Shri Awardee, Sri V. Pattabhiram, author of the book, Sri M. Shivakumar, CEO of ICT Academy. And the event is witnessed by thousands of educators, academic leaders, and policy makers from across India. With this, may I now request Sri Lakshmi Narayanan, the Chairman of ICT Academy, to deliver the opening and welcome address.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this book release, which is happening online. ICT Academy takes great pride in inviting and welcoming Honorable Vice President of India, Sri Venkaiah Naidu, for this book release event. The book is titled Future of Higher Education, 9 Mega Trends. The mega trends in higher education in this digital world has been compiled by ICT Academy with inputs from a number of educators in the country and analysis by an expert team of academicians, technologists, and finally brought together in the book form by our author, Sri Pattabhiram. ICT Academy has in its 11 years worked with over 600 colleges and universities in Tamil Nadu and in over 300 colleges and universities outside Tamil Nadu to develop faculty, which is the primary function, and students in the area of information technology, business, and entrepreneurship. It is a non-profit organization established with project support from the Government of India, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Government of Tamil Nadu, and industry partners like TCS, Cognizant Technologies, Hexaware Technologies, and so on. Its mission is to develop students for this technology-intensive digital world. The Government of Tamil Nadu has played an active role in developing the academy with consistent support by the Additional Chief Secretary of IT in Tamil Nadu, senior IAS officers from the government, and other board members from the industry. In the last 2 months alone, ICT Academy, through its Sky Campus, an online digital platform, lectured and trained around 5,000 faculty members of its member universities and impacted more than 4 lakh students and teachers through various online initiatives. The period of lockdown has been very effectively utilized by ICT Academy to train lakhs and lakhs of students. The chairman of AICTE, All India Council of Technical Education, and UGC have encouraged the academy to impact more faculty and students across India. With a broad mandate to make students industry ready and to keep faculty in thousands of colleges up to date and with technology, ICT Academy has forged partnerships with technology leaders like IBM, Oracle, Autodesk, Intel, Microsoft, Amazon, VMware, Salesforce, Cisco, and so on. ICT Academy have impacted and created job opportunities primarily for students from Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities, and including students from the northeast of India and Jammu and Kashmir. More than 5 lakh students have benefited from these programs. Higher education and research is changing dramatically with greater number of students participating in higher education and much greater opportunities for highly educated and talented students. Digital technologies have brought equity to all students who can learn from anywhere, anytime, and with the best course content and faculty of choice. Online degrees from reputed universities are only a small step away. The aspiring students have gone on to work with a great purpose in many industries like telecom, biotechnology companies, vaccine development initiatives, electric vehicles industry, and so on, all of which have a very high technology content today. People with good grounding in mathematics, data sciences have found plenty of good opportunities in leading companies in India. In celebration of this new open education and open learning architecture, ICT Academy is very happy to bring out the book on megatrends and higher education. And we are greatly privileged that it is released by Honorable Vice President Sri Venkaiah Naidu. We welcome you once again, sir. I also welcome the guest of honor for this event, the Chairman of Canara Bank, Sri T.N. Manoharan. I welcome on this occasion with folded hands. I also welcome all the educators, ICT Academy members, leadership of the Academy, and the leaders in education in the country for this event. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir, for your leadership and inspiring opening of this book launch. With this now, next may I request our guest of honor, Sri T.N. Manoharan, the Chairman of Canara Bank and Padma Shri Awardee, to deliver the special address.
Honorable Vice President of India and other distinguished participants, it gives me immense pleasure to be part of this virtual book release of the future of higher education, 9 mega trends, ably authored by Mr. Pattabhiram and brought out by ICT Academy after extensive research. India is a developing economy and has immense potential to emerge out as a strong nation in the globe over the next few decades. In the last 5 years, many reforms have been carried out, right from introduction of GST to successful implementation of insolvency and bankruptcy code, and many other reforms are work in progress. And all these have enabled India in the last 5 years to overtake many other economies like Canada, Italy, Brazil, France, and just before COVID-19 crisis, we even surpassed UK to become the 5th largest GDP size economy. And we have only now Germany and Japan to compete with the next 5 to 6 years to surpass them, and thereafter to contest in a triangular way with China and the US, which are 14 trillion and 21 trillion size economies. I'm confident that India's resilience to sail through this global turbulence, which is ably demonstrated even now in this pandemic situation with the lowest mortality rate, we will be able to gain momentum once this virus is effectively tackled over the next few months and gallop towards attaining the status of a developed economy. One reform, which is the need of the hour, is the reform in the education sector, and more particularly the higher education. If only the educational institutions and universities in India remove the shackles around the existing conventional method of higher education and liberate themselves to think innovatively and create the modern ways of imparting skills and knowledge to the youth, I think it will go a long way in accelerating India's emergence as a strong economy. By the conventional methods, we are only trying to build a future for the youth, which is very challenging and difficult because future is uncertain. So instead, by these modern ways of educating the youth, empowering them with the skill sets, I think instead of building a future for them, we'll be able to build the youth for the future. Whatever be the future, whatever be the uncertainty of the future, they'll be able to adapt themselves and emerge out stronger. And this modern trends of education, if they are properly designed and imbibed by the youth, India will be able to reap the demographic advantage in the global arena. American population is a stagnated population. European Australian is a declining population. Japanese Chinese is an aging population. It is only India's population which is a young population. If only these youth are empowered with the right kind of skill sets, the unemployability of the youth, which is the present day scenario, will vanish. Then even the section of the youth will become entrepreneurs. Instead of being job seekers, they'll become job providers. Instead of being mere history readers, they will create history. With innovative skills, they will not limit their challenges, they will challenge their limitations. And India was 142nd ranked in ease of doing business 5 years ago. In last 5 years, we have come to 63rd position, and very soon we will be in the top 50 nations. And India provides the largest consumer market, because of which it has become the most attractive destination for global investment. By higher education reforms, India will also become a human resource hub for the rest of the world. If this becomes a reality, the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister to make India self-reliant will become true. Let us build a credible economy in this incredible India. 19th century belonged to Europe, 20th century belonged to USA, 21st century must belong to India, and this can be effectively achieved by bringing out reforms in the field of higher education. I commend ICT Academy for this research publication and the author, Mr. Pattabhiram, for contributing to this kind of a reform in India. Jai Hind. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your inspiring message to the educators, and thanks for touching upon various things which are important and pertinent for today. Thank you very much for being with us. Now, let me request the author of the book, Sri V. Pattabhiram, to give a brief note about the publication and his perspectives. So you have to just switch on the mic, sir.
It's a great feeling to be part of a thought leadership document that has the Vice President of India unveil it. In early March 2020, when we first sat down to talk about these trends, I told both Shiva and Anbu that in the space of the next 5 years, colleges will embrace digital education in a big way, and that in the space of the next 7, schools too will embrace digital education in a very, very significant manner. You see how hopelessly wrong I was. In a few days, the biggest black swan event of history took place, COVID-19, and academia took to technology like duck takes to water. Those who thought that academia would be the last bastion which would embrace technology were proved so hopelessly wrong. Today, a lot many schools, a lot many colleges have gone completely online. I must at this point in time thank Narendra, Mohammad Ibrahim, Shivanand Pandit, Sapna Khatri, Archana Jayaraman, and Sudha Atreya for working diligently in converting what was 3 months ago a thought into a document today. I should also thank Malai Selvan for giving it the shape and the look that it today has. This book is the story of somebody who's born in the internet generation, a child born to millennial parents, a child born in the 2010s. The way this child is going to learn, get tested, and find jobs is going to be remarkably different from the way people 10 years his senior learned, got tested, and picked up positions. The internet generation is going to have a menu of subjects available in the universities from which they can pick and choose. Thus, for example, I might choose to graduate in civil engineering, but that's not going to stop me from selecting equity market as one of my subjects, because either I love equity markets or because I want to test whether the concept of strength of materials that I read in civil engineering can apply ipso facto to stock market prices. We're going to increasingly see blended learning, a clever mix of 20th century's classroom education with 21st century's online learning. We're also going to see exams that are going to take place anytime, anywhere, at a time when either candidate choose. Thus, you will not have to necessarily see an engineer finish his engineering in 4 years. He might take 3 years, he might take 6 years, according to his choice, with no pressure whatsoever when he gets hired at the campus. The internet generation is also going to have a great amount of access to online libraries, to gamification, to webinars, where some of the best and brightest professors cutting across countries and continents are going to teach them. I feel, given a choice, I would like to go back to college. But alas, unfortunately, I'm born 35 years too soon. I would like all of you to read the document, Future of Higher Education. And like all of you, I'm actually eager to listen to the Vice President of India, a man who is known to have his way with words. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pattabhiram, for writing the book and documenting the inputs right from the surveys of 5,000 plus educators across India and 50 plus expert interviews, and putting all those things together to come to what it is today. So now it's time to witness the grand release of the publication for the Indian higher education. May I now sincerely request our Honorable Vice President of India to unveil the book, The Future of Higher Education, 9 Megatrends, and then deliver the chief guest address for what we are all waiting for.
Can I have the Honorable Vice President release the book, please?
Yes. It's taking 1 minute.
Thiru Lakshmanarayan ji, Thiru T.N. Manoharan ji, Thiru Pattabhiram, Thiru Shivakumar, my dear sisters and brothers, I am really happy to be with you all today to release this book, Future of Education, 9 Mega Trends, and address you. Before I speak, I would like to compliment the three speakers, Mr. Lakshmanarayan, Manoharan, and also Pattabhiram, for presenting the overall view of what is happening on the digital front and the need for the same. It would have been ideal to have met you face to face, but you know that the current situation doesn't make this possible. So I had to release this volume virtually and address you from Uparashtrapati Niwas. My dear friends, today we are in the midst of a major health emergency. It's really an emergency. We are all working together to emerge victorious. In these difficult times, a number of aspects of our life are changing. Education is no exception. Technology is playing a greater role, and most of educational processes are being conducted online. I'm glad to know that the ICT Academy, a joint initiative of the Government of India and the state governments, have been using the power of technology to impart skills. I would like to recall the Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Bhai Modi's advice to the nation: reform, perform, and transform. And he also said, in future, the online should be the main line so that there is no need for any line. I'm happy this is bringing industry and academy closer. I am also pleased to know that it is continuing to serve academic community through initiatives such as the Sky Campus. I applaud the ICT Academy for its efforts. My dear sisters and brothers, this book I just released highlights some important trends and points to the future in education. We must take note of them. If you look back at the past, in the ancient India, we had a system of Gurukula in which Shishya was sent to live at the Guruji's home or ashram. Based on the Shishya's abilities, Samadhya, the Guru would suggest a customized curriculum. He used to design tests to make sure that the students mastered what was taught to them. This was individualized learning at its best. Then around 1000 BC, Takshashila University was set up and became a major center of higher education. In this university, students used to learn as per their choice. Teachers had complete autonomy in designing courses. The course durations were also flexible. Around the 5th century AD, Nalanda blossomed in modern-day Bihar. The institution was very similar to today's universities and had lecture halls and residential quarters and also libraries. My dear sisters and brothers, the education of the 21st century is very different from the Gurukula days. How education was delivered in Takshashila and Nalanda at that time. The education sector has been transforming rapidly the last few decades. We have seen unprecedented expansion of opportunities. There has been a digital explosion and a knowledge revolution. And it's an ongoing evolution that has to be fostered further. More children are in schools and universities than earlier. The skills required for a changing world have been evolving continuously. In the midst of this transformation, we now have to face the challenging context of pandemic. This is forcing each one of us to seek new ways of doing what we have been doing for a number of years. To survive in this new world, education institutions are going digital. Students and teachers are connected through cloud-based platforms. They are communicating, sharing, working, and completing projects. Examinations are also being conducted online. New technologies are being used for that purpose. We can clearly foresee that in the years to come, artificial intelligence, virtual reality, and augmented reality will transform the classrooms. This will also transform the way teachers teach and students learn. These changes will make it necessary to have a reorientation of the teacher training. That is very essential. The teacher will have to learn new skills of delivering learning online. The students would have to learn new skills. They have to be self-learners and collaborative learners. Technology offers immense opportunities. One can now carry a lot of books in smartphone. There are a number of audios and videos available online. These learning resources compress time and space and make learning much more convenient and interesting. Would it not be wonderful if sitting in a remote village in India, an aspiring scholar can access a book in the library at Harvard? With online laboratories, students can access machines anytime from anywhere and can practice before getting into a real lab. The teacher now plays the role of a facilitator, a guide, a counselor, and a coach, and very often that of a friend to the student. As the book mentions, the role of teacher will change from that of a sage on the stage to a guide by the side of the student. Teachers must therefore adopt their approach to learning in tune with the rapidly changing scenario. My dear brothers and sisters, technology opens up new possibilities, but also makes us realize the big digital divide in our society. There are many children who do not have access to digital devices. We have to realize the dream of universal quality primary education. If we have to have an equitable secondary and higher education, we will have to address the issues of this wide gap in access to technology. Technology must be accessible and affordable. This is very important. A large number of students are impacted due to the lockdown as they find it hard to study online. Many of them need hand-holding to shift from offline to online. They require proper training to pursue education through online modes. Many parents in India still cannot afford digital devices. Sorry. Bridging the digital divide is too big and complex a task for the government to accomplish on its own. That's why I call upon the private sector, especially educational technology firms, to adapt and contextualize the products as per the needs of the learners and price them to make them affordable. This is your time to make a momentous contribution to nation building and securing a bright future for all our children. BharatNet is connecting all the villages with high-speed broadband network. With this, ensuring digital connectivity has become much easier. The state governments, in collaboration with private sector and the NGOs, must come up with out-of-box solutions to make quality education at all levels a reality. This is a moment of disruption. The way we live, learn, earn, rest, and work is changing. Let us understand the changes and adopt creatively, collectively to the new normal. Let us prepare for and shape the future by turning adversity into an opportunity. We have a huge demographic advantage waiting to be converted into a demographic dividend. 65% of our population is below 35 years. 50% of our population is below 25 years. We should not miss this opportunity. We should enhance access to knowledge and skills to all children so that each one of them realizes his or her innate potential. My dear sisters and brothers, we need education for progress and development. Education is not for employment alone. Education is for enlightenment. Education is for enhancement of knowledge. Equally important is the role of education in character building. Education should be value-based and make the students not only acquire knowledge, but also wisdom. The curriculum should include various aspects of our rich cultural heritage and highlight the importance of protecting nature. That's why I always say nature, culture, together for a better future. Protect nature and preserve culture for a better future. Teachers play the most crucial role in shaping the character of a child after his or her parents. Therefore, teachers should have societal concerns. We must develop a model of education that reflects Indian culture and ethos. We need to inculcate cultural, moral, ethical, and spiritual values among children. I extend a special appreciation to Sri Shivakumar, CEO, ICT Academy, and Sri V. Pattabhiram, and who is the author of this book, for bringing out the thought-provoking book. Though small, it's very beautiful and also dutiful. This book can be a starting point for a process of reflection and action. It provides a good basis for further work on transforming the learning process of tomorrow. Finally, I wish ICT Academy all success in all its endeavors that contribute to nation building. Thank you very much. Namaskar. Jai Hind.
Jai.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much to Honorable Vice President of India for your inspiring speech and message to the entire educator fraternity. And we're all blessed by having you releasing the book. Now I will request our CEO of ICT Academy, Mr. M. Shivakumar, the captain of ICT Academy, to deliver the closing and vote of thanks. Shall I just switch on the mic?
Honorable Vice President of India, respected guest of honor, respected Chairman of ICT Academy, our most valued invited guests, and ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. On behalf of ICT Academy and the entire team fraternity of educators gathered here together, let me extend a hearty vote of thanks to all the speakers for gracing the occasion today. Megatrends. Amid this busy schedule when the nation is battling a pandemic, His gracious presence today has invigorated our efforts of enlightening millions of Indians with new energy. ICT Academy will march ahead to bring more laurels to the nation by empowering the next generations. Then I extend my deep gratitude to the guest of honor of this event, Sri T.N. Manoharan Ji, the chairman of Canara Bank, for his inspiring talk and continued support in the various initiatives of ICT Academy. This occasion is in place today as we have a compendium of trends forecast in hand. Though this book is the fruit of collective efforts, the captain of the ship is the author C.A.V. Pattabhiram, to whom I submit my word of gratitude for authoring this book in a very short span during this lockdown. My sincere thanks to the chairman of UGC, chairman of AICTE, and the chairman of NBA for giving their valuable foreword to this publication. My earnest gratitude to our chairman of ICT Academy, Mr. Lakshmi Narayanan, for being the guiding light in steering ICT Academy achieve its mission in every milestone crossed. At this moment of gratefulness, I pull out the efforts of Team ICT Academy in transforming 6.7 million lives across 27 states so far. Though collaborating with nearly 3,000 industry experts and 99 corporate majors, among our achievements, we feel proud about trained around 50,000 teachers in the last 11 years. To close with in all humility, I hereby state that ICT Academy, that had a humble start a decade back, is now on a mission to empower 10 million lives in 2025. With all your support and best wishes, we will achieve this mission ahead of time and pave a new path for the world to embark. Thank you. Thank you, one and all. Namaskar. Good night.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for your closing and leading ICT Academy and its initiatives. With this, we come to end of today's event. I record my sincere thanks to the all officers and team members of Honorable Vice President Office, and one of my colleague Raghav and his team in Delhi, and my colleagues Sabina and other team who are supporting this technology from the gate. Thank you very much to the chief guest, guest of honors, and all the educators across India for having participated in this grand event. Thank you very much, sir.